Good afternoon, Mr. Jones here, and it's Friday the 13th of September, and my task this afternoon is to cut this breather membrane down the middle, and then that will cover the lower section of the garage roof, and then I will start tiling on top of that. So enough talking, we'll just get on with it. That's the first piece up, and I need to leave a nice big overlap with the second piece, which I'll put up just shortly. Okay, that's the breathable membrane put on. So I'm going to have a little break now and have a cup of tea, and then I'm going to start cutting the tiles for the first row to be put up onto the roof. Now that the breather membrane is on, I'm going to be installing Tapco tiles. I haven't got them all here, but I'm going to get started. It's the same tiles I used on the conservatory behind me, and I think they look quite tidy and they look quite real. They don't look obviously as if they're based on a man-made product, so very happy with them. The first row is cut down to 305 millimeters, so I need to do that, and of course it's a double row to stop water penetration, and that's probably going to use up all I've got here, but it'll give me a better idea how many more I need to buy to finish the job, and they're available within 2 or 3 days, so I'll have them by the end of next week and can get things finished. Anyway, I better get on and cut these and start installing them. Good morning. It's 8:30 and it's September the 14th, and it's very, very cold. Low temperatures again last night, and it's extremely chilly this morning, but wonderful, the sun is shining. But what these few cold days have done is they made me remember how cold this house is and how impossible it is to heat. When I moved here about 12-13 years ago, I was probably at the peak of my career and money wasn't really an issue, and in that first winter we heated even the leaky conservatory. We sat out here watching television, and I didn't really think too much about my energy bills, but even then, that's a time ago, they were about £1,800 a month during the winter to try and heat this house, and it still wasn't entirely warm. It is just impossible. So when I see politicians like Ed Miliband talking about how we're going to be net zero, etc. There are millions and millions of houses just like this up and down the country. And Ed, are you going to come and insulate it for me? I don't think so. So it's a case of doing our best. I'm well past the time now when I'm earning the huge money. I don't really even have a budget for my work, which is one of the reasons I'm doing everything myself. But I am trying to not only maintain the fabric of this house, I'm also trying to make it more efficient, and I'm also trying to put in alternative energy like these solar panels. One thing that really annoys me, if I was to bring in a company to do the solar panels, they would charge me a fortune, and let's be honest, I couldn't afford it. It just wouldn't happen. But I would get the VAT back for the panels, etc. Because it's a government incentive. But if I buy the panels myself to do it, I don't get the VAT back. I have to pay the full VAT. Now there's something incredibly wrong with that, isn't there? Anyway, never mind the bigger picture. Yesterday I started putting up the first line of tiles. You probably can't see them too well. The sun is glistening off them at the moment, and I'm not going to complain about that. But what I did discover yesterday, I already sort of knew, is how out of true the roof and the walls of the garage are. So getting a straight line with the tiles and the gutter and the tiles and the ridge and the tiles and the panels is incredibly difficult. And of course, I don't want to be looking at this and see that it's out of true. So I'm going to spend a bit of time this morning trying to work out a way to make this look as accurate as possible. Anyway, I better stop talking and get on and do something. So I'll probably report back later today. One of the first issues I have to deal with this morning, and I alluded to a little earlier, is the fact that the building is not square. And this has several strange effects. But one of the effects which will, I think, stand out like a sore thumb is the fact that the gable end here, the overhang from the wood paneling and the relationship with the solar panels on the roof is not straight. We've got about 120 millimeters overhang of the one end, and it goes down to about 60 or 70 as we reach the top of the roof. Now, maybe not too noticeable here, but as far as the tiles or slates on the roof are concerned, it's going to look extremely strange. So my plan at the moment, and this may change if it becomes impractical, is to mark out on the bottom here and to get it straight, and then I will drill pilot holes through so I can see them on the top, and then mark it on the top, and then jigsaw this straight, and then that should allow for a nice even and straight tiles running up the side of the roof, with the tiles overhanging just slightly as well. It has to look accurate. I don't want this to be an eyesore when looking at it from the garden. So that is my plan at the moment. As I said, it may change if I find it to be impractical. Not helped this morning, the roof is so wet with the dew that I can't really go up there at this precise moment. Anyway, I'll get back to you later. I told you I might change my mind. And when I really came to look at this, I realized that yesterday I made a mistake. For some reason, I started with my first tile right in the center, and the idea to have a nice line right up in the center of the panels. But in hindsight, that was the wrong idea. And really, what I should have done is started from this right-hand side, because the gap between the solar panel and the edge is 302. The tiles are 300. So I should have come off a straight edge down from my first tile here, and that would allow these tiles here to be whole tile, half tiles, all the way up. And that would work in perfectly with what I've got, and would need me to trim a little bit of the OSB, but it's relatively simple. So yep, I've wasted quite a bit of time. But what I'm going to do is, to get this right, I'm going to reposition all my first row. Better I caught it now. And I think that'll be a far tidier and easier result. Anyway, okay, but look at this beautiful day. It may be getting cold, but look at this beautiful September day. It is fantastic. I love it. Yeah, for safety, I've moved the tower around to the other end of the garage, and I've now marked out the cut I need to make up the OSB to give a reasonably flat edge, but most importantly, it will give me nice straight tiles which will be visually nice to look at. And I thankfully and amazingly, I can see that my measurements, etc., and the way I've placed the panels is actually correct. And it is purely that the building is not straight, and the wall where the garage door is about 20 millimeters out, and it's reflected in what I'm seeing on the roof. Anyway, I need to make a cut now, so I'll just get on with it. I'm very happy with that. That looks good. I relayed the tiles, the first and second layer over here, just to see how it looks. And what I can see is I need to bring them down further over the gutter. Two reasons. One, to stop the water going back onto the wood, which I will be priming, painting underneath there. But the other one is it hides the wood as well, so I need to come further down. It's been a challenging day so far, a few steps backwards, But I'm now happy that everything is straight, and I'm happy now with the overhang. I've got first and second layer over here, and it looks good. So I'm going to proceed now along the length and see how far I can get today. Hopefully no more setbacks. Mr. Jones back. The daylight is fading fast. It's been an incredibly frustrating day. What by measurement is straight is visually not straight. So I've been having a terrible time getting the first row of slates looking straight and being straight. They say 3 tries for a Welshman. Well, I'm on my 4th try with this now. I think it's going to be okay, but I'm not entirely happy because I'm having to fiddle it to make it look right, and that never makes me happy. Anyway, I'm probably about 2/3 of the way along. I'm going to continue a little bit longer until it really does get too dark. Okay, well, let's see what I can achieve for the rest of today, and then I'll be back tomorrow.